Men over 60, let me ask you something real. Have you ever wondered if touching yourself every day is actually helping your health, or slowly draining your strength? Some people swear it keeps the prostate clean and lowers stress. Others warn it robs you of energy, dulls your desire, and could even cause problems in the bedroom. So, what's the truth? You see, at this stage of life, nothing we do is trivial anymore. Every bite we eat, every walk we take, every habit we hold on to, it all matters more now than it ever did in our 20s or 30s. And something as private, and as personal, as masturbation might be playing a bigger role in your health than you think. I'm Dr. David Jarrard, a urologist with over 30 years of experience helping men just like you understand their bodies, protect their independence, and reclaim their confidence. Over the years, I've heard countless men whisper the same question, "Doc, is it okay if I do it every day?" They usually ask with a nervous laugh, but behind that laugh is real concern, about health, about masculinity, about what's normal. Here's the thing, at our age, the body doesn't always play by the same rules anymore. What once felt harmless might now affect your sleep, your mood, even your heart and circulation. And the truth isn't as simple as good or bad. It's more complicated, and sometimes surprising. By the end of this video, you'll discover 5 ways daily masturbation can actually help older men, from stress relief to prostate protection. But you'll also learn 5 ways it might be working against you, in ways most men never realize until it's too late. And most importantly, I'll show you how to recognize when this private habit has crossed from healthy release into a warning sign you shouldn't ignore. But first, I want to hear from you. Comment below, do you believe daily masturbation is healthy or harmful? Your answer might help another man out there who's asking himself the same thing but doesn't dare speak it out loud. And before we dive in, if you want science-backed advice to stay strong, independent, and confident after 60, subscribe to Golden 70s Health. This channel is here for men like you, men who want to age with dignity, clarity, and strength. Let's start with the first effect of daily masturbation, how it influences your hormones and your mood. I'll never forget one widowed gentleman I treated years ago. He told me that his evenings felt calmer after release, as though the weight of the entire day had simply melted away. He wasn't chasing pleasure for its own sake, he was chasing peace. For him, that quiet moment made the difference between going to bed restless or falling asleep with a sense of ease. And there's a reason behind that. When you ejaculate, your brain releases a powerful mix of chemicals, dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin. These aren't just pleasure hormones. They are your body's built-in stress relievers. Dopamine rewards you with a sense of satisfaction. Oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone, brings calm and connection, even if you're alone. And serotonin steadies your mood, protecting you from feelings of sadness and emptiness. Together, this chemical cocktail can help older men feel lighter, calmer, and less weighed down by the stress of the day. Yet here's where many men fall into a trap. They assume that continuing this habit into older age is something shameful, something they should hide or even stop altogether. But the truth is, masturbation is a natural function, no different from stretching your muscles or taking a deep breath. The body was designed with this release valve, and pretending it should disappear after 60 doesn't align with how the body actually works. Here's the real advice. If this habit lifts your spirits, reduces your stress, and doesn't interfere with your responsibilities or relationships, then it's likely beneficial for you. In fact, maintaining this healthy outlet might be part of why some men remain more positive and steady in their later years. But hormones and mood are just the beginning. Daily release doesn't only affect how you feel when you're awake. It can also play tricks on your nights, shaping the way you sleep, the quality of your rest, and how refreshed you feel in the morning. And that's what we'll uncover next. Now let's talk about the second effect, sleep and energy. I remember a retiree who once came to me and said, "Doc, my best night's sleep only comes after a quiet release before bed." He wasn't exaggerating. For him, it was almost like flipping a switch. Without it, he would toss and turn, watching the ceiling fan spin until morning. With it, he said he slipped into sleep like a child. There's a clear reason behind this. After orgasm, your body produces prolactin, a hormone directly tied to feelings of relaxation and drowsiness. At the same time, oxytocin, that bonding hormone, floods your system, lowering blood pressure and calming the nervous system. This combination tells the body it's safe to rest. For some men, especially those battling the restlessness that often comes with aging, this can mean the difference between 2 hours of tossing and a full night's sleep. But here's where many men get confused. Some believe masturbation drains energy, that it leaves you weak or fatigued the next day. In reality, what you're feeling is the body's natural relaxation response. It's not exhaustion from depletion, but the afterglow of your nervous system calming down. The body is nudging you toward rest, not robbing you of strength. Here's the practical truth. Using this habit occasionally as a natural sleep aid can be helpful, especially if you face mild insomnia. But be careful. If you find you can't fall asleep without it, that may be a red flag. It could mean your body has grown dependent on this one mechanism instead of addressing deeper sleep issues like stress, poor routine, or even undiagnosed conditions that come with age. So yes, better sleep is a gift. But we need to be mindful of balance. And sleep is just one piece of the puzzle. Because while your nights may improve, there's another vital system in your body affected every time this habit takes place. And that's your heart, the very engine that keeps you going. Now let's look at the third effect, circulation and heart health. Think of it this way, every time arousal builds, it's almost like giving your body a light workout. Your pulse rises, your breathing deepens, and your blood vessels widen. Oxygen flows more freely, and nutrients travel through your system faster and more efficiently. For those few minutes, your heart is pumping harder, sending life-giving blood to every corner of your body. This process is called vasodilation, the widening of blood vessels. And it's more than just a fancy medical term. When vessels open up, blood pressure can temporarily lower, easing strain on your arteries. Over time, this gentle stimulation may help keep your cardiovascular system flexible and responsive. It's a bit like taking your heart on a brisk walk without ever leaving your chair. But here's where the worry sets in. Many older men fear that arousal puts too much strain on an aging heart. They wonder, what if I push too far? What if this causes harm instead of help? The reality is, for most men, moderate arousal is safe, and in many cases, beneficial. The body is built for it, even in later years. The real danger isn't the act itself, but ignoring the signals your body sends. So here's my advice, pay close attention to how you feel in the moment. If you notice chest tightness, unusual shortness of breath, or dizziness, don't ignore it. That's your body's way of saying something's not right, and it's time to seek medical advice. Remember, no private habit is worth risking your heart health. Still, for the majority of men, this natural response is not only safe, it may actually help maintain circulation and heart function as you age. But circulation isn't the only concern. There's another organ that may benefit even more directly from regular release, one that many men worry about deeply in their later years. And that's the prostate. Now let's turn to the prostate, an organ that's at the center of almost every man's concern after 60. For years, doctors and researchers have looked at the connection between ejaculation and prostate health. And the findings are striking. Decades-long studies suggest that men who release more often may actually have a lower risk of prostate cancer. One well-known study followed tens of thousands of men for nearly 2 decades, and those who ejaculated more frequently were shown to have fewer prostate-related problems later in life. Why might this be? The theory is simple but powerful. Regular ejaculation helps flush out the prostate. It clears away old cells and toxins that, if left to linger, could potentially cause trouble over time. Think of it like draining a tank. The more often it's emptied, the less buildup there is inside. This natural cleansing may explain why frequent release appears to offer some level of protection. But here's where many elderly men carry a misconception. They assume that avoiding sex or masturbation saves the prostate, as though rest will somehow keep it stronger. The truth is, research suggests the opposite. Total abstinence doesn't preserve the prostate. In fact, it may allow unwanted buildup that could raise the risk of problems. Still, the advice isn't to push for daily activity as a rule. Moderation is the key. For many older men, 2 or 3 times a week might be enough to support prostate health without overtaxing the body. Daily release is still debated among experts. Some see benefits, others see potential downsides. What matters most is how your body responds, and whether the habit improves your well-being or begins to weigh you down. So yes, your prostate may thank you for keeping things active. But there's another side to this story. Because while frequent release might protect one organ, it can create unexpected changes in another area of life, your desire, your fertility, and even your performance. And that's where we're headed next. And now we reach the 5th effect: libido, fertility, and performance. Over the years, I've had patients quietly admit something that troubled them deeply. They said, "Doc, I've lost interest. Not because of age alone, but because I've overdone it." For some men, what began as a healthy release slowly dulled the spark that once drove them. Instead of feeling energized, they felt flat, as though their desire had been drained before it could even build. There's science behind this. When stimulation happens every single day, the brain's dopamine system, the very circuit that fuels excitement and reward, can grow desensitized. The more often it's triggered, the less powerful the response can become. What once felt exciting begins to feel routine, requiring more and more to reach the same level of satisfaction. At the same time, sperm count naturally drops with daily release, because the body doesn't have enough time to fully replenish. For most men past the age of 60, fertility isn't the top concern, but it's still a reflection of how much stress the body is under. And here's the misconception many fall into, believing that more is always better. They think that if release once a week is good, then every day must be even better. But the body doesn't always follow that logic. Too much can dull desire, slow recovery, and even contribute to problems like premature ejaculation or erectile dysfunction. What should feel natural and fulfilling can begin to feel forced. So here's the advice I give my patients: if you've noticed your spark fading, your stamina slipping, or your desire dropping lower than it used to be, take a short break. Give your system time to reset. Often, just a pause of a few days is enough to restore the fire. This isn't about denying yourself, but about respecting the rhythms of your body and giving it space to recharge. And that brings us to the emotional side of this discussion, something every man eventually faces. Because behind all the science, behind the hormones and the prostate and the performance numbers, lies the deeper question of how this private habit shapes our dignity, our identity, and the way we see ourselves as we grow older. For many elderly men, talking about this subject feels embarrassing. Even saying the word out loud can feel heavy with shame. But the truth is, this isn't just about a private act. It's tied to something much deeper: your dignity, your independence, and even your relationships. Because how you view this part of yourself often shapes how you view your strength as a man. Too many carry the weight of silence, believing this is something they must hide or deny. But instead of guilt or secrecy, I want you to see it differently. Think of it as part of your health, no different from the food you choose or the walks you take. Like diet or exercise, this too needs balance. Too little, and the body suffers. Too much, and the body pushes back. The key is not to fear it, but to understand it. And if you've noticed changes, maybe your sleep feels disrupted, your energy dips, or your desire fades faster than before, don't brush it aside. These signs are not punishments, they are signals. Even the smallest conversation with your doctor can open doors you didn't know were there. Simple solutions, better routines, and reassurance are often closer than you think. Here's what I want you to remember: aging does not mean giving up intimacy, pleasure, or connection. It doesn't mean closing the door on that part of your life. It means learning to approach it with wisdom. It means adjusting to the rhythm of your body so that your later years are not marked by fear or regret, but by strength, confidence, and even joy. You are not broken. You are not past your time. You are a man still capable of living fully, of feeling fully, of connecting deeply. And understanding this one part of your health may just give you the courage to live the rest of your years with greater freedom and peace. So let's bring everything we've covered together. To recap, masturbation can lift your mood by releasing those feel-good hormones, it can improve the quality of your sleep, support your circulation and heart health, and even play a role in protecting the prostate. But there's another side. Too much can dull your desire, lower your stamina, and affect performance in ways many men don't expect. The lesson here isn't about stopping or overindulging, but about balance. Balance is the key that keeps this habit from being a strength or a stumbling block. Now, I want to hear from you. What's your view? Do you think daily release helps men stay healthier, or do you believe it can become too much? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't underestimate the value of your words. Your perspective might be exactly what another man out there needs to hear, someone who's struggling with the same questions in silence. If you found this video valuable, I invite you to subscribe to Golden 70s Health. Here, we share science-backed tips designed to help men like you stay strong, sharp, and independent well beyond 60. By joining this community, you're not just subscribing to a channel, you're becoming part of a group of men determined to age with dignity and wisdom. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Remember, your health is still in your hands. Stay strong, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next video.